Hi, my Doordash people. I am back with another video, another topic that I did want to speak on. I didn't want to combine this into my last video because it was already the time that it was, but something I've been meaning to discuss, and other people have already kind of threw this out there or talked about it. Again, by the thumbnail, is if Doordash is worth it doing it anymore in 2024, possibly going into 2025. And I say this because all the changes and stuff they're making, it seems like everybody's making less and less compared to the previous years. You made more and more, and it went less and less as the years have passed. And I now get to this point, and don't get me wrong, I make decent money, pretty good money still with Doordash, but there's a lot of people that don't make any money, so it's like almost pointless to be working for Doordash anymore. And it seems like Doordash doesn't care. But I will tell you, my very first video that I put out on this channel, I told you that Doordash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all these companies, they're always going to be for themselves before they are for you. And if you come to agreement with that, then you'll be okay. Because in your mind, you'll know that Doordash is putting them first. And I'm guessing as they should. I mean, it's their company. They should be concerned about them. But they also should be concerned about the workers that work for them and the contractors, the independent contractors that drive for them as well. So, me personally, being that I started this whole gig thing with Uber and Lyft, with the rideshare company, the rideshare service, I seen how things were up, and I seen how things went, and they just declined as we went along year by year by year. And I was with Uber and Lyft. It started out great. We were getting nice high wages. It was like $1.50 something per mile at that point, or whatever it is. So we were making pretty good money, I would say. $1.50 to $2, somewhere around there. And it just dwindled down. It dwindled down. They crashed the taxis market and threw them out. And once they did that, then they started taking more and more profits. Uber and Lyft. They started taking more and more profits, and we went from profits being here with Uber and Lyft being here, and it just kind of went like this to where they just started making more money, and we started making less and less, to a point to where it wasn't even worth it anymore. Although there is always going to be new drivers that are going to sign up because they're unaware. And going into it, they already know that, they're going to make 70 cents a mile. Like, they're going into it already with that in mind. But when you started from the beginning, or when it was high, $1.50 or whatever it may have been, to then drop down to 70 and 80 cents a mile, those are the people that get affected. But then you're always going to have this new slew of drivers that are going to want to sign in to make that little bit of money that they're being offered. Like, it's always going to be this thing until you really die out. And that's kind of what happened with Uber and Lyft. And to this day, I still don't understand why people are even doing Uber and Lyft anymore. Like, when you have other options out here. So when Doordash came about, it's like now I don't even have to worry about being nice. I mean, I'm naturally nice already as it is, but it's like I don't feel like I have to do extra to please this customer in the back seat that's had a bad day, or they have an attitude, or they're prejudiced, or they're racist. You're doing all you can to just be a nice driver, because granted, it's an awkward position to be in when the stranger is getting inside your car, and they feel awkward as well getting in a stranger's car. So you do your best to try to get them to be comfortable. You do your best to try to get them to be comfortable. So with that said, Doordash then came out, and mind you, the pay was already bad with Uber and Lyft. And Doordash came out, again, new company, same thing like Uber and Lyft. The pay was good, the pay was high, base pays were great. Base pays were, oh man, $5 to $10. Base pay at the lowest, $5, but on average up to about 10. At least in my market. Of course, every market's different. I don't know what markets were what at the time, but I can speak on my markets. And it was just a number one for McDonald's sitting in this seat, where I didn't have to deal with those awkward customers. Oh yeah, that math was easy. I have to please this number one. I have to, I mean, I already keep my car clean, but it's like, there's certain requirements and stuff with Uber and Lyft you had to have. You gotta go get the car inspected. You have this and that, blah, blah, blah. And of course, if your car was working right, then there was no problem. But it's like, I had to take time out to do these inspections. I had to pay for them. Sometimes I didn't, depending on if it was a free service that some company offered. But anyways, you get to Doordash and you do this. And what I am starting to see is I'm starting to see a repeat of what happened with Uber and Lyft. And that's what's happening is Doordash, they already have been taking more and more of the profits, and it's just being lowered in our base pay to where they're taking more and more of the profits and just offering us a less base pay. So I feel it's getting to a point to where it's going to be like Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft is kind of dead. They've been dead for a while. When they were out, it's like you couldn't see a vehicle without the Uber or Lyft sticker on your car. It was like almost every car around you had an Uber or Lyft sticker in the back as being a driver. Now, I rarely ever see a Uber or Lyft. Rarely. And it's to a point to where the cost of the service is so high now. Now you're higher than what taxis were. But you killed the taxi service. But now you're higher in terms of the cost for the customers. Yet the drivers are making less. The ones that are out there still driving for Uber and Lyft, they're making less. And more profits are going to the company. And on the company's end, I get it. You're out there to make the most you can. I guess you got to figure it out. But by screwing over your drivers, the ones that got you to that point or have been making you the money since day one, just kind of sucks. It's kind of like, screw you guys. We're making our money now. We're going to take a little more from you and a little more from you and a little more from you, possibly until you quit. And because we're always going to have new drivers that's going to sign up, and they're always going to be okay with the money that we offer right then and there. So we'll just squeeze you out until you're done. And while Doordash has been huge and has been a big thing for a lot of us, I feel like they're headed in the same direction to where slowly but surely your prices are going to rise way too high. You're already upping the prices on the menu items. All these service fees that are just getting high. Nobody even knows what these service fees are. But these service fees are getting higher and higher. Then there's this delivery fees that customers are paying. And then they're getting attacked for tips or whatnot. And then, don't get me wrong, I love tips till the end of the day. I'm not even going to sit here and knock it like, oh, tips don't mean nothing. I love them too, but I also understand also from the consumer side, because I have used these services before, so I do understand there's a certain amount of service, a certain type of service that you want to be given to you for a tip to then be provided. But that part aside, I just feel like Doordash, eventually, if not now, eventually they're going to start crashing and they're going to burn. And by then, there'll probably be this new service out there. There's a couple other apps out there that are coming out and they're brand new. And sometimes you just got to kind of flow with what's current, it seems like. And I'm just keeping things in mind, at least in my mind. I mean, like I said, I still make decent to good money or whatever it is with Doordash. So it's the sole only company that I drive for. I don't multi-app or anything like that. But there's a couple apps out there that are fresh starters that I'll have in the back of my mind to think about signing up with. Because I do feel like Doordash is going to be getting slower and slower and slower, which is going to equivalent to them taking more and more of your profits so they don't bleed or anything by paying their actual workers that work for them. And everything that they're sponsoring and all this money that they need to get and collect and blah, 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 they're going to just start taking more and more of the profits. And they're going to depend on the customers to make the difference up in the tip. And that's kind of where we're at now, where we're attacking customers over a tip when it should be Doordash that should be paying out the proper base pay, to where if you get a tip, cool. If you don't, cool. Like, that's kind of how it should be. But no. So with that said, I mean, let me know what you guys think down below. If you feel Doordash is going to crash and burn. And they have a lot of restaurants signed up with them, and there's a lot of drivers out here doing these orders, but I just see the way Uber and Lyft, the rideshare companies, went down. Doordash is headed in that same direction. They're right in that same direction. And whether it's something that happens this year or next year, maybe in 2026, who knows? But I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better, at least for us drivers. So just something that I throw out there, whatever, is just to get you guys' opinion, you guys' thoughts. I'm gonna ride this wave of DoorDash for me until it stops making sense to me, because the math needs to math for me. And right now it's mathing still, so I'm not completely lost with it at this point. But I know there's a lot of areas, a lot of drivers that just aren't making anything. It's just crap. And it's like, I feel for you. At the same time, I'm just like, at this point, I mean, maybe you should just quit. Maybe you shouldn't do it anymore if it's just not worth it, because all it's doing is bringing negativity to you and keeping you in a negative mind frame about a company that you don't care about, that you talk about, and you really don't want to drive for because they're not paying you enough. And I get it. That's not to knock you or anything like that. I totally get it. If the math was not mathing for me, I would quit. I'd be done. I'm on to the next opportunity, the next whatever. Next independent contractor position, or I'm just out getting a whole nother just regular day-to-day job. Excuse me. Like I said, this is just, it's something that I see happening where it's just gonna get lower and lower and lower. You already see what's happening, at least for California, and being that I'm in California, they're just laying people off. This whole $20 raise thing to $20 for minimum wage, it's not turning out so good. It's hurting more than what is being beneficial to those people. And it's hurting us that make over $20, because we're not seeing any of that bump. It'll be different if we seen the $4 bump that it was, and we actually seen $4 for every company out there, every profession, every position. It'll be totally different. But being that it was only minimum wage that's then affected, it just gives them a reason to make us all pay, at least here in California. It's like those people making $20 an hour in there. Yeah, if you still have your job, yeah, you benefit from making a little more money, but that little more money, now they've raised the cost of everything. And at that point, it doesn't matter if you're one that makes the $20 or if you're one that makes the $25. If it doesn't affect you because you made over $20 already, you're still out here paying extra for everything just like everybody else. It's not like it's just the $20 an hour people that are getting taxed. And things aren't going well. Restaurants are shutting down. They can't keep up the wages because they're getting below the employees that they need to even run the establishments, which means there's going to be less restaurants that are going to be on DoorDash's platform, or at least in that area. And it's going to continue to hurt them and continue to hurt them to where it's going to be so many restaurants that's going to fall off. DoorDash doesn't have to figure it out again. So, I don't know. That was just my thought. I could be crazy. I don't know, but I'm just thinking that DoorDash is headed in that direction. All these other apps that have been bought out and combined or whatever it is, there's reasons for it. While DoorDash is sitting at the top, and as bad as things are going right now, I feel like when they really go bad, it's going to be a really big problem. So you guys better buckle up and you guys better figure it out. That's what I will say for you people, especially you people that are dependent on DoorDash like full time. I don't pray in anybody losing any money. I just always wish that people can make the most money that they possibly can doing this job or any one of the gig jobs that we do here. But I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think. If DoorDash is going to crash and burn, or if you think they're going to be here to stay. I generally say they'll continue to be here, just like Uber and Lyft continue to be here, but now it's just they're dwindling down to nothing, to where there's very few drivers left out there. So do you think this is what's going to happen with DoorDash? Do you think they're always going to have an onspring of a flooded market of drivers? Boy C-Moto, back at it again. Till next time, people. Peace out.